Hello indie game fans, there is a very interesting upcoming week of releases since most of the indie games have gotten the hell out of the way of Elden Ring, with a double whammy since the Steam Next Festival is about to flood the store with demos, which means a smaller than usual but no less interesting edition of indie gaming this week. Let's begin with Who's Lila, a reverse detective narrative adventure game with a very interesting gameplay mechanic. As can be seen, you are controlling your character's facial expressions in interacting with other characters, which can possibly result in some hideous Joker-like monstrosities, but to have this as a central mechanic is quite interesting. The dithering on the pixel art does remind me of the return of the Obra Dinn, with a lo-fi PS1 overworld on the left as well, so how's this for unique to kick us off? While you might have come across the mechanics of RogueSlide somewhere, most notably in games like Threes, this developer has taken the sliding concept and applied it to a dungeon crawler which looks quite appealing. There are 5 playable characters with their own attacks and abilities, potions to drink, spells to cast and so on, looking like a cleverly made smaller title. I did chuckle when the Legends of Tynedale cropped up on my feed that it was releasing this week, since I've covered this Zelda-style action-adventure game before, but somehow, between the last time we took a look and now, our main character has sprouted blue hair for some reason. I guess it does make the character look a little less generic, but this game does look like quite a classically made one of these, looking to be of interest to fans of the genre. I do love my life sim, farming or pet-focused titles, where Clouzy is one such title of interest this week, where you run a cloud daycare and have to take care of fluffy clouds. It looks relaxing and adorable, making it the cozy title of the week. Full disclosure, the developer of Rising Mist did sponsor a video sometime last year, where this adventure RPG is finally releasing this week. It is set in a classic high fantasy world, where your character must oppose tyranny in the wake of a rising evil force and dark magic, trying to forge alliances while threading the line between allies and enemies. It does have some gorgeous hand-drawn art, and what looks to be decent management and RPG systems, making this a title of interest. We don't have mid-size games of interest this week, so on to smaller games with GrubDash Driver, Food Delivery Driver Simulator, one that is self-explanatory, where it's interesting to see how a developer managed to translate the food delivery experience into an interactive video game where, somehow, they decided to make it look like Earthbound as well. Now, this is not so much of a game but more of an educational simulator, since if you do not know what metal milling is, Milling Machine 3D will give you an idea how things like machine parts, gears and such are made, being of personal interest to me. A very interesting looking puzzle game is Mr. Rayner's Solve It Service, one that looks to have ciphers and strange occult symbols with a touch of horror as well, possibly becoming one of those creepypasta breakout hits. Let's kick off the top 5 with Brendan Keogh's Putting Challenge, where I do apologize if I'm pronouncing the family name wrong, but this is a golf game that simply looks wonderful. If you cannot guess by the naming convention, there is a little bit of getting over it with Bennett Foddy in this, but not in the sense that it's a frustrating game, but more because this is golf with all the boring bits in it, which includes walking up to the hole to get your ball, walking to the next hole, and so on. Tedium as a video game concept is a very interesting part of game design, of how developers can make the mundane interesting, so it is a very intriguing entry and is all wrapped up with the Pico 8 aesthetic, although the developer did rebuild the game in a different engine. We have had an increasing number of games tapping upon SCP lore, ranging from Control to Anno Mutationum, covered in Friday's video, where SCP Pandemic looks to be the next title to do so. This is a 4-player co-op first-person shooter, so of course, some Left 4 Dead or GTFO vibes, where due to the horror elements of SCP, I'm inclined to think that it is more of the latter. Still, it's interesting to see another team try their hand at a co-op shooter, so I wish them all the best. Alright, so Downfall is technically a mod from the Stay the Spire fan community, but if you love this game, I'm sure that more content is always welcome. This adds a whole new character in the Hermit alongside the original 4 in the main campaign mode, but the main focus of this seems to be Downfall mode, where you play as the boss characters and are actually descending the spire with 7 playable boss characters, which is very clever. It comes to us from a team of more than 22 people, so I do believe that it has gone through stress testing to be fun and balanced, where it's always nice to see fan mods officially releasing on Steam for free, so please check this out if you love the game. I think I covered Beku either in a video on action platformers or pixel art titles, since everything about this game looks good to me, from the action, enemy designs, and even the anime-like backing track for this trailer. You play as a warrior being tested by King Beku in various trials conjured up by his sorcery as he seeks someone strong enough to stand by his side to help eliminate a powerful being. I am curious as to whether there are any RPG-like progression systems, or if this is more of an arcadey experience, but either way, I love the pixel art, so it gets a great spot on the list. A title that I covered when previewing the most promising upcoming games of the month is Long Winter, a very cozy looking live sim title that sure looks like Animal Crossing on the surface, especially due to the design of the main character. You are farming, fishing, chopping trees, crafting and decorating your campsite, which looks super cozy, even having multiplayer support, and then things start getting weird. For some reason, there are straight up guns in this game where you can go and attack other players, since this title is on an online server, so how's that for a twist? As such, it looks like a very interesting survival sandbox title, where I do hope that it is not as harsh as something like Rust, and may just take off at its own right, taking the #1 spot. For more upcoming indie games, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.